Let's go. It's hard to breathe. My heart is beating wildly. My eyes are wide and alert, glued to Dimitri's back as it disappears into the horizon. A feeling of dread spreads over me, tainting every corner of my body. Doubt and paranoia grow in my mind like a rotten seed. Although I guess it's still like a betrayal, right? Because he's like, oh, it's just a co-worker. I mean, is this gonna be a misunderstanding? I guess we'll see. That's Dimitri. He's holding a girl's hand, walking to an unknown destination. Why are they holding hands? Why? My mind keeps repeating the image over and over again. I can't stop thinking of Alex, finding out about those text messages, that he betrayed my trust, that he went behind my back and had sex with other girls. That the man I loved and thought I knew ended up being nothing like I thought he was. Betrayal, anger, shame, all of it is rearing its ugly head again. I mean, it's really shitty in like multiple ways if someone's like actually cheating on you and having sex with someone else, because then you have to go get like STD tests and stuff. It's like putting your health, putting your emotional health at risk. Like, it's just a horrible fucking thing to do. I'm nauseous. I want to throw up. I don't know what's wrong with me. Everything in my body is screaming at me to do something, but I don't know what. I'm in a state of fight or flight panic. My feet start moving against my will. My mind is blank as I picked up the pace. Gotta keep moving. Gotta keep these feelings at bay. I'm walking fast in the same direction I last saw Dimitri. I want to know. I want to know so badly. I have to know. Feels like I'm gonna suffocate if I don't. People around me are nothing but passing blurs. My blood feels like it's boiling, running through my veins, fast and hot. My heartbeat is drumming in my ears. I can't hear anything else. In the distance, I see Dimitri with the girl, Kim. They both disappear into an alley. My stomach swirls uncomfortably, but I lurch forward. I'm walking to the beat of my heart, each step I take sending shockwaves of anxiety through me. The alley is getting closer. It feels like the walls are coming at me, boxing me in. Should I really go after him? Should I really go into that alley? I push through, rounding the corner and entering the alley. I mean, I don't think you need to make it obvious that you're following him, but fine. My eyes can't make out what's happening, even though I'm hyper aware of everything at the moment. Dimitri is further into the alley, crouched down on the ground. The girl is next to him, also on her knees, cooing at the box. I'm panting for air, air that feels thick and heavy in my lungs. What are they doing? Then, Dimitri finally turns his head and spots me. His eyes widen when he recognizes me. Valkii, he calls out for me. I'm frozen on the spot, can't move, can't breathe. It's getting away, yells Kim. Dimitri tears his eyes away from mine and focuses on the box in front of him. The box is moving, making sounds. I can hear a small hiss. Dimitri's hand reaches inside of the box and he winces in pain when he gets scratched, but he manages to pull out a small kitten from it. It meows loudly and wrestles with Dimitri's hands, digging its claws into his skin. Quick, the carrier, he commands. Kim swiftly takes out the carrier she's been holding and opens the door. Dimitri places the kitten inside of it and Kim closes the door. He quickly takes it off her hands and holds it himself. Alright, let's take it to the vet, quick, she says. Closest one that's open for emergencies is 300 meters from here, says Dimitri, who's already looking at his cell phone for nearby clinics. They're both coming my way. I'm shaking, feeling like all the energy in my body has slipped away. Valkii, Dimitri says as he stands in front of me. I open my mouth, but I don't know how to respond. We're taking this kitten to the emergency room. If you want to come with us, just follow me. Dimitri doesn't even wait for my response and he walks past me with Kim following behind. I spin around to look at their backs, my mind a complete mess. Dimitri is rescuing a kitten. I don't know what went down during the past hour. Everything is so fuzzy in my mind. I've calmed down, though I feel like everything around me is passing by, when in reality I'm standing still, not knowing what's going on. You're Dimitri's roomie, right? I turn my head towards Kim, a bit shocked that she's speaking to me. My body feels rigid, yet I force myself to nod. Such a coincidence you were there too. The poor girl got attacked by kids. They can be so cruel, she says in a sad voice. She's talking about the kitten, right? I've been keeping tabs on her before, feeding her a little bit, hoping the mother would return. Kim sighs, but I guess that's not happening after all. I remain quiet, looking down at my hands on my knees. I keep wondering if she's Dimitri's girlfriend, something which he's kept from me all this time. When I mentioned it to Dimitri, he demanded to know where it was so we could rescue it. She smiles to herself. He's got a big heart. A sharp pang of pain goes straight through my body. The feeling eludes me. I have no idea what's wrong with me. I should be paying attention to what's going on, but instead I feel like I'm not even present in this world, as if I'm having an out-of-body experience. I can't stop thinking of Alex. What did I do wrong? What did I do to deserve to have my trust shattered like that? I thought I was over this, the anxiety attacks, the late-night sweats, the trust issues. Yet here I am in a state of panic because something triggered me. Burying my face into my hands, I drown out the world around me. I don't want to be here. Valkii? Shocked, I look up. Dimitri is standing in front of me, those deep blue eyes gazing at me with worry. Are you okay? You look pale, he says with concern in his voice. I swallow, my throat feeling dry and raspy. Yeah, just a stomach bug, I lie. Dimitri nods at me, pulling away. He looks so serious all of a sudden. The vet says she's going to pull through. She's got a fractured front leg, but it should be able to heal up just fine. That's great to hear, says Kim. Dimitri smiles. She needs to stay here for tonight under observation. Afterwards, we can look into finding a home for her. Maybe the cat cafe will take her, suggests Kim. Maybe, Dimitri replies. We can always give it a shot. I glance down at my hands, fiddling with my fingers. Taking a deep breath, I speak up. If you can't find a place, I don't mind housing the kitten until someone adopts it, I suggest. Dimitri looks surprised. Huh? Really? Nod my head at him. Dimitri then breaks out into a smile. That would be really helpful, Valkii, he says excitedly. I promise I'll take care of the kitten myself. I give him a weak smile in return. My heart has finally calmed down and I don't feel as nauseous anymore. That doesn't mean I'm fully comfortable, though. I'll let the vet know we're bringing it home with us tomorrow then, says Dimitri before walking away. It's just me and Kim again. I take in a deep breath to steady myself. Then I turn towards Kim, ready to ask what's been on my mind since I saw them holding hands. Is she Dimitri's girlfriend? Is Dimitri your boyfriend? I ask her directly. Kim's eyes widen and she looks at me in surprise. Oh, no. I thought he was your boyfriend. Well, that answers my question. I thought perhaps since the last time I met her that somehow they'd become a couple. Thankfully, that doesn't seem to be the case. Wait. Thankfully. I shake my head. Dimitri is a tenant, nothing more. Kim breaks out into a smile. Cool, so he really is single. He mentions you a bunch of times at work, and when he showed that picture of the two of you, I thought you were a couple. Picture? I question. I believe he said you took it for some kind of photo shoot? Ah, that one. The one where Dimitri is holding me. Considering we were acting like a couple, it makes sense for Kim to misunderstand. I clench my hands onto my thigh. How long have you been working at the cat cafe? I ask her. Not very long, about 3 or 4 months now. Dimitri was already working there when I joined and he showed me the ropes. It's a very cool job, better than working in an actual cafe. Caring and interacting with cats is the best part, she says excitedly. Can't help but smile at her enthusiasm. She and Dimitri would be rather cute together despite my earlier reactions towards it. Dimitri walks back into the waiting room, looking a lot more self-assured. Alright, I paid for the vet bill. I'll be coming back tomorrow to pick her up and take her home. She seems to be doing fine, he informs us. That's a relief. I'm glad we got there in time, says Kim with a relieved sigh. Yeah, thanks for telling me, Kim, Dimitri says while smiling at her. I feel a little out of place for some reason. Valkii? Dimitri prompts me. I look up. Are you free right now? For some reason I can't seem to answer him straight away. What was I doing before anyway? I completely forgot. Right, I had a meeting with Mandy. I'm free right now. Great, then let's go shopping. I need to go home anyways to walk my dog, says Kim as she stands up. See you next week then, says Dimitri. Yeah, bye. Kim leaves the waiting room first. Dimitri is still standing in front of me. Suddenly he crouches down to my level until I'm staring straight into his blue eyes. Is your stomach still upsetting you? Should we go home straight away instead? He asks, clearly worried. You're not your usual self, he observes. I almost forgot about my stomach bug lie. I'm obviously not like my usual self when only an hour before I had an almost full-blown panic attack out on the street. Not that I'm going to tell Dimitri this. I can hardly put it into words why I was triggered in the first place. I shake my head. No, I'm fine. We can go buy some things for your kitten. Dimitri stands up again, not looking very convinced. Alright, let's go then. We both leave the clinic. Who would make their cat wear this? I question loudly. In my hands is a frilly pink tutu for a cat. I can only imagine that this would drive any cat crazy. True. Even I, a fashion designer, wouldn't subject a cat to this monstrosity. Dimitri chuckles behind me. I don't know, it's sort of cute, don't you think? I stretch the tutu in front of his face. Really? I question loudly. This is cute? Anything made for cats is cute. Cats in general are cute, he explains with the sweetest smile. Sometimes I'm like, oh, do I only like this guy because he's like nice and he's fun to tease? And then he goes on about how much he likes cats and I'm like, that's why as well. Well, I guess I can't argue with that logic. I put the tutu away as I look around for other supplies. We've been here for several minutes now looking for a litter box and some cat food, though Dimitri's mostly been distracted by cat toys. He's holding a large fishing rod type toy with a ball tied at the end of the string. He bounces it up and down to test it out. Dimitri laughs to himself, looking quite amused. He's rather enjoying this, perhaps a little too much, but it's rather cute. It's making me forget about my awful experience today and simply feed on Dimitri's positive energy. It's rather strange to think I'll soon have a kitten at my house, but I'm excited about it. I would be excited about it as well. This will be your first pet, right? I asked Dimitri, standing next to him while he's inspecting some fluffy balls. Yes, my mother never allowed pets in our home, so this will be my first. He looks very happy. His smile makes my heart melt in a puddle. Thank you so much for offering to let it stay with us. Don't worry, it will be 100% my responsibility to take care of the kitten. Plus, it will only be temporary until we find it a new home. With all of his smiling, it's making me rather concerned. He's already getting attached to the kitten that's still at the clinic. What if he won't be able to give it up? What if you won't be able to give it up? Dimitri, I start. Dimitri stops putting cat toys in his basket and looks at me. Don't get too attached, I warn him. I don't want him to break his heart when it's time to part. Dimitri's smile falters and he immediately looks down at the floor as if he realizes he's been living on cloud 9 the entire time. Right, I'll try, he mumbles. I poke him in his side to cheer him up, but he can still be excited about it. Dimitri flashes me a grin, back to his old spirits. Yeah, he says, then he happily goes back to browsing the aisle full of toys. It's quite fun to browse around the store like this with Dimitri. It's like my panic attack from before didn't happen at all. I'm glad I get to be so carefree with him at the moment. Soon, Dimitri has got an entire basket filled with cat toys, from small little plastic balls to strings on a fishing rod to a remote-controlled mouse. Wait, are you really buying that? I say, pointing at the mouse. It seems rather expensive. Dimitri sighs. You're right, it's probably a bit too much, he says with a disappointed groan, and he puts the mouse back where it came from. I giggle at him. My mood has definitely improved. A woman suddenly walks up to me, tapping me on my arm. Excuse me, but... She butts into our conversation. Aren't you from that flyer? I turn around to face her. I don't recognize her. She's rather petite with large orange curls. Flyer? I repeat. A couple of weeks ago I got this flyer in the mail, and I believe the both of you were on it. Ah, yes, I remember it now. Wait, someone recognized us from the flyer I distributed. I'm quite surprised. Dimitri has the same expression as me, startled someone recognized him. Are you two models? She asks. I shake my head with a chuckle. No, I decided it's better if I wear my own creations than letting someone else model it. Ah, I see, so you're the owner. My sister went shopping at Olympus. She said she loved the dresses there, says the woman. I feel myself glow with pride. I humbly look down, unable to prevent myself from smiling widely at the compliment. That's very lovely to hear, I respond. It's still a rather new business, but I'm happy word is getting around. Trust me, with those kinds of dresses, you and your husband will have a very comfortable life to look forward to. Husband? Dimitri squeaks, looking embarrassed. I'll be sure to drop by for a visit sometime as well. I want to see your collection with my own eyes, she says with a wink. That would be great, I reply enthusiastically. The woman waves us goodbye and walks to another part of the store. I can't contain myself and jump a little from happiness. Did you see that? She recognized us from the flyer, I squeal. And she has a sister that loves my dresses. My chest swells up with pride. I'm so happy to hear a compliment about my work. I'm very grateful that there are people who go out of their way to tell me something like that. Dimitri fidgets on the spot, looking timid. He scratches the side of his cheek. I think I'm a little too young to be someone's husband, he says meekly. Right, it almost slipped my mind. The woman thought Dimitri and I were married. Seems to be a common error regarding that picture. I shrug at him. You don't look all that young, though. You could easily pass for my age. Dimitri perks up. Really? You think so? Well, yeah, look at how tall you are, I say, and point at his head. People will assume you're older. In fact, even I assumed Dimitri was older when I met him for the first time. I guess he's always looked a little more mature than his actual age. Still, to have people think I'm your husband, Dimitri chuckles nervously. Don't worry about it. I mean, we did pose as a couple after all. It's only natural people would think something along those lines. It doesn't bother you? He asks, his tone suddenly a lot more serious. I look at him, my face blank. Why would it? Dimitri looks surprised, and he stares down at his basket full of cat toys, contemplating something in silence. His eyes flicker back to mine. Because I'm Alexander's brother, he says curtly. He's got a point there, but it hasn't particularly bothered me. It's a simple misunderstanding based on a picture of Dimitri and me. I don't really want to be reminded of Alex at the moment, though. I don't really care. Besides, it's an honest mistake. Dimitri's eyes shift sideways. Why don't you correct them, though? And well, why didn't I? Sorry, I got a bit excited at someone recognizing me from the flyer. I didn't care much to correct them. So, should I go along with it next time? Dimitri says jokingly. Keep up the lie for the sake of new clients? I giggle at him. That's not such a bad idea, you know, Dimitri. Dimitri grins at me, a twinkle appearing in his blue eyes. Then let's head back home because this husband needs to prepare dinner for his wife. I snort out loud. You sure like to subvert the stereotypes. I aim to please, he says with a cocky grin. Together we finally buy all of the supplies for the kitten, and then head home. Getting through this one quite quickly. I think this is another short one, which is, you know, a thing because the next route we're going to do is long. It's like twice as long as these. I hope it's good. I hope he's not like, you know, not my type at all. I hope there's something I can like about him like there was with Kane and Neil. It's hot. We're in the middle of June, rapidly approaching the deadline for the wedding, but instead of working on some last-minute details for the dress, which is almost finished, I'm here on the floor, wedged between my couch and the wall. Come on out, stop hiding behind the couch, I complain loudly. Dimitri brought home the kitten from the vet, and the first thing it did was run for cover, underneath my couch, of course. It was all fine and dandy until I noticed she was chewing on the lamp's cable. I definitely don't want to have a barbecued kitten on my first day of owning a pet. Be gentle, she's still very scared of her new surroundings. Dimitri tries to calm me down. Well, I'm very scared she's going to electrocute herself, I reply. I know, but trying to force her out like that won't work, he says sheepishly. I huff before I stand back up and head to my couch to sit down. Alright, you're the cat expert. Please, just make sure she doesn't hurt herself. No problem, leave it to me. Dimitri quickly brandishes one of the many cat toys he's bought, a fishing rod with a ball at the end. The toy jingles as he bounces it in the air and then drops it down on the floor near the couch, trying to lure the kitten out the kitten. He wiggles the toy around, making lots of noise until suddenly I see a striped paw appear from underneath the couch. Oh, it's working, I say gleefully. Soon the kitten dashes away from her hiding spot and does a somersault into the air as she pounces on the toy. That's a lot of energy for a kitten that's got a broken paw. But the kitten doesn't seem to be bothered and happily chases after the ball as Dimitri tugs it along. See, you just have to be a bit patient and distract it with something else to get it to come out, Dimitri explains. The kitten runs over my feet, still chasing the toy. She then catches it with her claws, walks over to my legs and sits down next to me, chewing on the ball. I lower my hand to pet her, which she surprisingly allows. Oh, she's so cute, I can't help but admit. How old is she? Bet said around 2 months, still very young. She doesn't seem to be afraid of people, which sadly means that she probably had a family before and got dumped. Really? People got rid of her? That's so cruel. Dimitri looks sad as well. It's not that uncommon. Their own cat will come home pregnant and they don't want to deal with the kittens, so they dump them in a box on the side of the road. I pet the kitten's head, feeling sympathetic to her experiences. Someone simply got rid of her. That's messed up. Well, she's with us now, safe and sound. Dimitri smiles at me. Thanks for letting her stay here. No problem. We need a name for it still, says Dimitri. He looks at me. Do you want to name her? Me? I ask, surprised. I mean, if you want to. What should I name the kitten? Right, well, this is a cat that used to live next door to me, but used to sleep in my room all the time. She was obsessed with me, and I missed her a lot. I moved, and now I don't see her anymore. Alright, then how about Pixie, I suggest. Pixie? That doesn't sound too bad for a kitten. It's rather cute. Dimitri nods his head. Yeah, I like it. Pixie it is, I say cheerfully. Our conversation gets disturbed when Dimitri's phone buzzes. He puts down the toy and quickly checks his screen. It's Kim, he says. Right, they text each other. I'm still a little irritated at it, considering with what happened yesterday, but this is Dimitri, not Alex. I shouldn't be feeling this way. She's asking if we named the kitten yet. That's an eerie coincidence. We just named her Pixie, after all. Maybe she's stalking us through a hidden camera, I joke. Dimitri chuckles and focuses attention on his phone as he types a reply back to Kim. While he's busy, I grab the fishing rod and continue playing with Pixie. She eagerly chases after the ball, not being bothered by her paw at all. My eyes flicker back to Dimitri's face, who is very engrossed in writing to Kim. It makes me wonder how close they are, or whether Dimitri is interested in Kim. Before I can help myself, I ask, are you close with Kim? Dimitri sits down next to me and looks up from his screen with his eyebrows raised. Me and Kim. He presses a button, then tucks away his cell phone. No, not really. We text every now and then, but that's only been recently. That doesn't really tell me whether he's interested in her or not. Kim is a cute girl, and you're single as well. A possible blossoming romance? Dimitri's eyes widen slightly. He looks surprised. He stumbles over his words, not knowing what to say. Scratches the back of his head. I'm not really interested, he mumbles. You're 19. There's nothing wrong with liking girls, you know. But I... Dimitri seems like he's at a loss for words. Oh wait, sorry. Maybe you're into boys instead? Dimitri's mouth drops open. No, he immediately denies. Wanting to tease him a little bit, I press further. Nothing wrong with liking boys either, I say with a smile. I don't. Oh, you don't have to be so quick to deny it. I keep poking fun at him. Oh, I like you, he cries out. I pause as I clamp my mouth shut, my heart suddenly throbbing fast. Dimitri's entire face turns red and he immediately starts to sputter his words. I mean, I like girls. You're a girl. Dimitri's face gradually grows a darker shade of red. I like girls. He murmurs that last part. My own face feels like it's glowing as well. That felt like a confession. I guess I teased him a bit too much that he became flustered and suddenly said something like that without thinking. Whew, calm down, heart. False alarm. There's no way Dimitri likes me. Right, I say loudly, more to convince myself. Both of us are quiet, the atmosphere between us awkward and rigid. Dimitri is still red and I'm feeling a little embarrassed as well. Maybe I tease him too much. Dimitri turns to look at me, his eyes filled with determination. Valkii, look, I can hear glass shattering near the kitchen. What was that? I quickly get up to inspect the noise. Approaching the kitchen, I see some shards of glass and a puddle on the floor near the door. It seems Pixie has knocked over my vase of flowers. I sigh and start to clean it up. I guess this is something I should start getting used to now that I have a kitten in my home. It's been a few days now since Pixie came to live with us. Dimitri is completely taken by her, playing with her whenever he gets the chance. At night, he takes us to his room and that's where she sleeps. They're kind of inseparable. It's actually rather sweet. Since the first incident of knocking over a flower vase, I've made sure to store away all of my delicate belongings. Don't want her breaking those too. Today, I've invited Sarah over for dinner so she can meet Pixie as well, who she was very curious about. Who wouldn't be? Dimitri walks into the living room carrying Pixie in his arms. Wow, I can't believe it, says Sarah, deeply astonished. You've truly lived up to your name, catboy. Dimitri immediately glares at her and strokes Pixie's head reassuringly. Oh, don't be like that, Sarah, I say, hoping to prevent a fight. Dimitri did the right thing and is taking care of a kitten in need. It's still just a street cat, she says dully. You're getting on my bad side, Sarah, right now. Pixie is only a kitten. I'm obviously not going to abandon someone in need. Dimitri hugs Pixie close to him, looking annoyed. Pixie suddenly jumps out of Dimitri's arms, walking up to Sarah, and she happily rubs her body against Sarah's legs. Sarah smiles at Pixie. Look, I think it likes me. Impossible, Dimitri says immediately. He crouches down and stretches out his hands, making cooing sounds at Pixie. Come here, kitty kitty, he tries to call for her. Come back, stay away from that evil lady. But Pixie is perfectly content wrapping her tail around Sarah's leg and eventually starts to purr. Sarah chuckles to herself as she bends down to pick up Pixie and cradles her in her arms. Pixie purrs even louder and starts to play with a lock of Sarah's brown hair. Well, aren't you super cute, she says with a giggle. Dimitri looks shocked and heartbroken, completely abandoned by Pixie. Poor Dimitri, seeing Pixie go for Sarah and leave him in the dirt. Ouch. I place my hand on top of his shoulder, comforting him. Stay strong, Dimitri. Then Sarah yelps out loud. Ah, she's stuck in my hair. Pixie has her claws dug deep in Sarah's locks, frantically trying to free herself from the tangled mess, with Sarah desperately trying to unhook Pixie's nails only frightens Pixie even more. Oh, be careful, don't hurt her, I warn Sarah. When Sarah finally removes Pixie's claws, the kitten jumps away from her and runs towards Dimitri, hiding underneath him. Oh, did you get scared? Dimitri coos at her as he swoops her up into his arms. He stands up straight again, looking smug. See, that's why you don't go near her, he tells Pixie. Sarah gives him a dirty look as she places her hands on her hips. Definitely a street cat, she murmurs. Dimitri happily strokes Pixie's head, seemingly content that she ran back to him. I sigh loudly. Shouldn't you be making dinner? Says Sarah to Dimitri. Dimitri doesn't even answer her and disappears from the living room along with Pixie. Don't mind him, he's getting a little too attached to Pixie. Once a cat's boy, always a cat boy, she says with a sigh. She then looks at me with a smile on her face. How's the wedding dress? Can I see it? Oh, it's almost done. I'm just stitching some details onto the hemline, which shouldn't take too long. Awesome, can't wait to see it. I'm sure Mandy will love it. I'm so excited to finally get to capture her big day. Everyone is going to look so nice. I've got my dress ready as well, I point out. Yes, I'll be attending the wedding alongside Sarah. Mandy had invited me before, saying she had enough space for me. It's something I've been working on in the meantime, just a very nice casual evening dress. I don't doubt it. It's going to be a long day, so try not to wear heels if you can. I'll be wearing sneakers, actually. Practical, I know, but Sarah does have a point. I don't want to be standing in heels all day long. Anyways, don't take too long finishing that dress. July is just around the corner, Sarah warns me. Don't worry, I'll have it finished by then. What about Catboy? What about him? Chocolate. Oh, that. I'm not sure, actually. I believe he said something about using his college kitchen to prepare them. He's asked for special permission. As long as he stays away from me with that disgusting orange chocolate, then I'm good. Sarah's face turns into a grimace. I don't like Sarah on this room. I don't like her. I laugh at her, remembering that Dimitri made sure Sarah got the chocolate she hates eating. Sarah and I discuss wedding events some more until Dimitri finally calls us to eat dinner. As the days pass, working on Mandy's dress, there's this presence on my mind I can't shake off. It doesn't matter how cute Pixie is and how much of my time she takes up taking care of her. I'm still left thinking about something from the past. It's almost July. That will mark my 3-year separation from Alex. Sometimes it still feels like yesterday, especially after that incident with Dimitri and Kim. I'm still unsure why that was a trigger for me, but it was. I sigh as I put my notebook down. My mind is too preoccupied. I should probably stop for today. It's already pretty late and I even skipped dinner just so I could continue working on the dress. Mandy's dress is very close to being finished though. I mean, she was probably triggered because she felt like she was lied to, and trust and someone lying to you, that's like breaking your trust. So it's adjacent, but also, hidden feelings for Dimitri that she's just not confronting. Everything upstairs is quiet and kind of dark. It's like Dimitri isn't home at all. Actually, I haven't seen him all day long. Dimitri? I call out for him. The room is silent. I don't even hear Pixie anywhere. Then I hear some commotion from outside. Over here, he responds back. That came from the balcony. I walk towards the double doors and open it up, stepping into the fresh air. Hey, I greet him as I close the door. Dimitri is relaxing against the railing, staring up at the sky. He's wearing his glasses already. It's beautiful, isn't it? He says slowly. I step up beside him and look up to see a full moon shining down upon us. The sky is clear of any clouds and the stars are twinkling very bright. Yeah, I agree. The summer night sky is the best. I close my eyes, feeling the slight breeze rustle through my hair. That means it'll be my birthday next month, Dimitri points out, the 30th. I say absent-mindedly, knowing full well what happened the day after that. Dimitri's expression softens when he sees my slight discomfort. Bad memory for you? He questions. A little, yeah, I admit. It was a long time ago, but I recall my panic attack and flashbacks when I saw Dimitri with his co-worker. I know I should be fine, and I am. What? Dimitri pushes me to finish my train of thought. I guess opening up to Dimitri about it won't be a bad idea. He's not his brother, and I don't believe Dimitri would ever call me silly for still having some lingering resentment from it. I take a deep breath. It's affected me more than I would like to admit. We weren't together for very long, but to be cast aside like that, to have the person you trust the most rob you of your dignity, it stuck with me. Dimitri looks at me intently, listening to every word I have to say whilst not saying a single thing himself. He's simply listening. It felt like being stabbed in the back with a knife. I've had a very hard time trusting people since. No matter the dates Sarah pushed me to go on, I could never open myself up to any of the guys. They may have been upstanding and solid men, but I simply wasn't ready. I was still a mess. I know it's going to sound stupid, but I've had panic attacks happen before. When something reminds me of Alex, I just clamp up shut. Dimitri shakes his head. It doesn't sound silly to me at all. It's understandable. I give him a weak smile. I haven't had one in a while, so I thought I was over it, but recently I had another panic attack, I admit. How recent? Dimitri asks, sounding concerned. I don't know if I should admit it, because even I can hardly make any sense of it. I look down at my hands, wondering if I should tell Dimitri or not. It was when I saw him with his co-worker that it sent me triggering. Those nasty emotions crashed into me like a tidal wave, and at that moment I had no idea why. Honestly, I still don't know why it set me off. All I know is it's because of Alex. I hold in my breath, then shake my head. No, I feel embarrassed. I shouldn't have felt like that in the first place. I'm sorry you don't feel comfortable enough to tell me, says Dimitri. He stares at me, those warm eyes piercing right through me. But what you went through, there's nothing to be embarrassed about. You're allowed to feel whatever you feel. You didn't do anything wrong. He gives me a confident nod. My heart clenches up, my eyes even begin to tear up a little. A warm glow washes over me. It's like I needed to hear something like that all along. There's nothing wrong with feeling how I felt. I didn't do anything wrong. Thanks, Dimitri, I say to him from the bottom of my heart. Dimitri casts his eyes downward. I know what it's like to be told your feelings don't matter or are irrational. That you should be strong and stop complaining. Then his eyes are back on me. But they're wrong. You're allowed to feel bad about bad situations. It feels nice to have someone say that to me, that I'm allowed to have these feelings. Every step of the way I thought of myself as crazy for having them, weak and pathetic. But here's Dimitri, letting me know my emotions are okay. Even Sarah, who was a very great support in my rough times, would constantly try to cheer me up and tell me to move on. I thank her for the effort, I really do appreciate it, but it would have been nice if I was simply allowed to cry my heart out. From the sound of it, it seems Dimitri has had a similar sort of experience. You're speaking from experience, aren't you? I ask. Dimitri pushes his glasses back and flashes me a sad smile. He looks deep in thought, reminiscing on an old memory, perhaps. He takes a deep breath before speaking up again. Remember the day we met? He asks softly. The day in the rain? Dimitri nods, yes. He clasps his hands together, twiddling his thumbs. I was on my way home from the arcade. Dimitri looks away from me. I ran into some of my classmates there. Friends? I ask, hoping I'm not wrong. He shakes his head. They were my bullies for several years. Oh, I say dejectedly. I recall Dimitri mentioning something about me being made fun of when he was younger, but he never elaborated on it. A small group of 3 boys. They'd been terrorizing me ever since I was young. They made fun of my glasses and would often steal them and hide them from me. He sighs. If it wasn't my glasses they were after, it was my other personal belongings, or they'd make fun of my clothes. Eventually, I didn't have a single friend. That definitely sounds like classic bullying to me. I was pretty lonely all those years during middle school, he admits. I find my heart aching for him. I wish he didn't have to go through this in his childhood. Going to play games was my way of escaping that reality, but then they found out which arcade I went to. They not only took away all of my prizes, but also forced me to give them all of my money, which they then spent at the arcade, he says with a pained expression on his face. So when I met you, I didn't have a single cent on my person. That explains why you couldn't pay for the umbrella. I was having a really bad day then. I'm sorry, I say, not knowing what else to really say. Dimitri then flashes me a warm smile, but then I ran into someone who reminded me that there are still some kind people in this cruel world. I find myself flushing red at the compliment. I turn my warm face away from him. Are you talking about me? Maybe, Dimitri says in a teasing way. You ended my awful day on a lighter note. I know it was probably a regular day for you, but it really meant something to me, he admits. My heart thumps faster against my chest. He's right though, it was a regular day for me. I was simply window shopping and looking at clothes for ideas of my own. When I met a boy who got caught out in the rain like I did, I didn't think twice about offering some help. It was only an umbrella after all, no skin off my back. I look at Dimitri, who's got this smile on his face. It's making me feel even more embarrassed. I didn't realize. I didn't really do much though. He chuckles at me. You were just being you. That was enough. I brush my hair out of my face and tuck it behind my ear, which feels hot to the touch. I didn't mean to embarrass you, he says quickly, finally noticing the blush on my face. I was just really thankful for what you did that day. This, in turn, makes me flush even hotter. I bury my face into my hands. Stop, you're making it worse, I murmur. I don't understand why, but knowing that Dimitri has these memories of me that he holds dear, it's super flattering yet embarrassing at the same time. Dimitri timidly scratches the back of his head. Anyways, my point being, when I reached out to people about bullying, I got platitudes instead. Dimitri sighs. I'd hear them say things that I should be a man and stop acting so weak. Oh, that's awful. Poor Dimitri, to have people make light of his issues. And if I'd be more like Alexander, I wouldn't get bullied, he says with this defeated smile. After all, Alexander was always the most popular and got along with everyone around him. It breaks my heart, it really does, especially knowing that yes, Alexander was quite charming. That friendliness and easygoing aura around him is what drew me in at the beginning. Who said that? I ask, because whoever did is messed up. Dimitri shrugs. My parents. You've got awful parents, I blurt out. I gulp and immediately try to take back my words. That sounded way too harsh. I mean, no, you're completely right, he says in a deadpan tone. Huh? Dimitri keeps quiet, looking down at the ground. His face looks tense, his eyebrows knitted together. There's a sense of maturity exuding from him. It's no fun growing up when you're always being compared to your older brother and even your parents wish you were more like him. It's making me realize there's a whole other side of Dimitri I never knew about. He's always been this cute and adorable brother figure to me, but even Dimitri has issues he struggles with. He's a person of his own, with his own ambitions and problems, just like me. To be told by his own family he should act more like his scummy brother puts me in a foul mood. I place my hand against his back, comforting him. No matter what anyone says, you keep being yourself, Dimitri. There's no need for him to turn into an Alex clone. Dimitri is Dimitri. And I'm not just saying this because of my history with Alex. I genuinely believe you're a good person that doesn't need to change. It's a shame others don't see that. I finally removed my hand. Dimitri is a kind young man who cares for others and helps out whenever he can. Yes, he's not very assertive and sometimes too nice and can easily be taken advantage of, but his own parents telling him to man up and be more like Alex. That's kind of disgusting. Dimitri chuckles into his hand, a slight blush appearing on his cheeks, an improvement over his earlier, painful expression. Sometimes I swear you know exactly how to charm your way into my heart. I raise my eyebrows. Charm my way into his heart? Dimitri's eyes widen in a panic. I mean, you know exactly what to say to make me feel better. And then quickly adds, anyway, shouldn't we head back inside? It's getting chilly. Without waiting for a response, Dimitri opens the door and walks back inside. I look up at the moon. It's warm outside right now. After all, it is summer. You cannot be this oblivious. I refuse to believe someone is this oblivious. I'll see you in the next one.